So here's the deal with this one, guys. My channel is like 6 years old now. I think it turned 6 at the end of July, and it's August now when I'm recording this, which is kind of crazy to think about it first, and then I like look back at my older videos and I'm like, I don't even remember fucking making that. But one thing I've been wanting to do for a while, since like the 5th year anniversary last year even, was look at my old reviews. As you can see, I have the whole playlist pulled up here. Series reviews where I review every movie in a franchise, because I've done quite a few of these over the years. I haven't done a proper one in 2 years now. This one doesn't really count. I just put it in here anyway for convenience. The one I'm working on now that I'm hoping to have out within the next month or two is my review of the Jurassic Park franchise. Before that one came out and I finally bring this series back from its 2-year slumber, I wanted to go back and look at all of them to see how much of this shit holds up, because it's probably not going to be most of it. I should say too, I obviously got this idea from Cosmonaut Variety Hour to do the video looking back on all my reviews, because he does a really similar series like this to me as well. I'm really similar. It's basically the same series. In my defense, when I first started doing these ones like 5 years ago, he hadn't really made it into like a series. Nowadays, that's kind of one of the things that he's known for, is his big franchise review he does at the end of every year. Back when I was working on these, he'd only done like 1 or 2. It wasn't really like an annual thing yet, so I just wanted to throw that out there in case anyone thinks I'm copying the guy, because I'm not, don't worry. But yeah, I've been needing to take a look back on a lot of these, especially this first chunk right here, because this is just different. I used to go about my reviews back then differently, because I used to be pretty worried about ruffling people's feathers with my opinions, but ever since then I kind of realized that that doesn't really make for interesting content. It's time to set the timeline correct. I hate that these are just the same thumbnail. I don't think I realized that I did that. So we're going to do Spider-Man first, because this is where it all began. And I have a feeling now, after rewatching a lot of these movies recently because of Brand New Day, that my opinions have pretty much stayed exactly the same. Like, what's this one? Let's see. I'm pretty sure I probably gave this like an 8 out of 10 if I had to guess. Yep, 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's still an 8 out of 10. I don't like it as much as I used to, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to make this video. Every time I tried to watch that movie again, I liked it less and less than I once did. So I wanted to make this video to talk about how my feelings on that one have kind of since changed, and I don't like it as much. But then I went to go see it for the first time in theaters when they were doing one of those re-showings, and it was a great time. It really helped remind me why I like this movie. I think it's easily the most standard Spider-Man movie, not like it's the bad by any means, but it's very what you'd expect from a Spider-Man movie, but it holds up pretty well for the most part. And yeah, I'd say 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 or something like that. Spider-Man 2, this movie's still good. This movie I don't really have any complaints about. More so the fact that people tend to use this movie as the example when they're criticizing any of the new movies. But half the time, the shit that people are criticizing the new movies for, they did it in these movies too. I remember people used to be like, oh, Vulture and Mysterio has such weak character motivations. They're motivated entirely by Iron Man and not even Spider-Man. It's not even Spider-Man they're mad at. And it's like, dude, I hate to break it to you, but that's most of these movies. It's basically every Spider-Man villain has been motivated by somebody else, and they only beef with Spider-Man because he keeps getting in the way of what they're trying to do. Green Goblin was trying to get revenge for being fired from his company. Dr. Octopus was just trying to finish building his machine, and Peter kept getting in the way. Sandman just wanted money for his kid. Venom is an exception, where he is very much 100% motivated by his hatred for Spider-Man. Some people would say maybe Electro. I don't think that guy has a consistent motivation. That guy has like 5 different motivations throughout that fucking movie. 10 out of 10. Yep, that's about right. Spider-Man 3, I was too lenient on this movie. I still really like this movie, but a lot of the criticism against it is pretty valid. I'm all for comic book campy goofy shit, but there's so much shit in this movie that just goes so far beyond just campy goofy. It's just plain ridiculous. It's all the third act too. The third act of this movie is a fucking fever dream, and the pacing just goes completely out the window. I don't get Venom's plan at all. To kidnap Mary Jane, instead of just going and kidnapping Mary Jane, he steals a taxi, dresses up like a taxi driver, and then just so happens to find her and somehow knew that she would need a taxi at that moment and was able to kidnap her that way. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, a really easy fix to that scene would have been to just have it be that, like, she's in a taxi and Venom just takes the taxi. Also, Venom and Sandman teaming up has absolutely no reason to happen. I don't, for one, how the fuck did Venom find Sandman? He just kind of stumbled upon him in the middle of some alleyway, and then Sandman gets jump scared by this demonic Spider-Man, and he's just like, ugh, and fucking throws him to the side and keeps going. Like, you don't get to just casually brush off something as weird as that. I still like Spider-Man 3. I feel like it's always gotten a little bit too much hate. This is considered to be one of the worst superhero movies ever made. And if this was one of the worst superhero movies ever made in 2007, then I don't think we knew how good we had it back then. And I was gonna say 7, but to be fair, and to put my bias aside, it's probably more of a 6. The Amazing Spider-Man 1. Oh, this one is a treat. This movie is also fine. It's nothing great. I really like their usage of practical effects, and I actually kind of like the costume. I don't think... Oh, here's my first real video. This doesn't exist anymore. I just realized that. April 29th, 2020. Let me go back. This video here, The Amazing Spider-Man is amazing. This is not a video that exists on my channel. Look at my old profile picture too. You can kind of see it. The Amazing Spider-Man 1, fine movie. Very fine movie. However, it is... Oh, I didn't even realize how low the quality was. It is extremely, it's like aggressively a fine movie. And a lot of the things that people praise this movie for, they had already done and gotten right and done better in the original Spider-Man trilogy. Oh, so I feel like on paper, this movie was going to be a lot more. But at its worst, it's just kind of a shitty, muddled movie. And at its best, it's not as good as the old movies. It just kind of does the same things that the old Tobey movies did, but worse. And this is something I want to talk about when we get to TASM 2 here soon. But we live in this weird revisionist history time where people seem to think that these two movies are like the best Spider-Man movies, and they can be your favorite if you want. I'm not gonna lie, I will judge you a little bit. If you tell me your favorite Spider-Man movie is TASM 2 out of all the Spider-Man movies, I'm probably gonna assume that you're just a bit of a contrarian, but take that with a grain of salt from me, because I'm also the same guy whose favorite Dark Souls game is Dark Souls 2. So you could also say that I'm a contrarian. It's because ever since No Way Home came out, they made him likable, and it kind of created this weird alternate timeline where people seem to think that these movies are good now, and they're like, oh, Andrew's the best Spider-Man. Maybe you could argue that he's the best actor to play Spider-Man in live action, but I wouldn't go as far as to say that he's the best. The best Spider-Man has other qualifications. It also includes the writing and the characterization. Tom Holland nowadays probably has the best Spider-Man overall. Andrew Garfield's a great actor, and he brings a lot of charm to Spider-Man and Peter Parker as well, but the script of this movie is so bad. It just makes him into such a violent, angry douchebag the whole time that he's just so unlikable in his own movies. So yeah, 7 out of 10. It's a 6. It's not great. It's not bad at all, but it's one of the most standard Spider-Man movies. I've been saying that a lot, I feel like, but this movie is just the definition of standard. It hits all the notes that it's required for a basic Spider-Man movie. And other than that, it just doesn't do anything that interesting. It also kind of... I'm still pissed to this day about this movie's really weak and sideline portrayal of the Lizard. I think they got a good actor for him, but the Lizard's one of my personal favorite Spider-Man villains, and he has like nothing interesting in this movie. All of his interesting shit is cut. In No Way Home, they just kind of turned him into a meme just because he was so poorly written in this movie. So yeah, 6 out of 10, maybe a 5. But I'm going to be nice and give it a 6, because I know a lot of people like this movie. TASM 2, however, this is the main one I wanted to highlight. I don't know what the fuck portal I fell into. I don't know what timeline I ended up in. But we live in this weird revisionist history society now, where people think that this movie, what you're seeing on screen right now, this horse shit, is good. Most of the time, too, people will be like, yeah, if you ignore the plot and the bad characterization and the studio meddling and all the inconsistencies and the countless plot holes, it's a pretty good movie. It's like, hey, but I want you to think about that for a second. What do you have left without all of those things? You just have the action. So what you're telling me is that this movie is good just because it has some good action in it. And I won't argue with the fact that this movie has some great Spider-Man action in it for the like 20 minutes of this 2.5 hour movie that he is Spider-Man. Like, see this shit right now, it looks really cool, even though this is grainy for as fuck, because I guess my quality was just even worse back then. Like, this shit is cool, but that is like all you get from this movie. You get like one fun montage and you get this opening scene, which even this opening scene's not perfect, because it's just this shit right here. This is just kind of obnoxious. It's a little too silly for me, and I like campy shit. Just too silly, especially as a follow-up to the most serious Spider-Man movie at the time. But in this opening montage too, he also just lets a bunch of random fucking people die, and he doesn't do anything about it. It doesn't feel like Spider-Man to me. Everything in these movies too, involving Peter Parker's parents, is so fucking lame and boring to me. I don't know a single person who genuinely cares about Peter Parker's parents. They just don't matter in the grand scheme of things, and I don't know why this movie puts so much focus on them. But this is another reason that I hate this movie, is this motherfucker right here. Electro is like possibly my favorite Spider-Man villain over Lizard as well. I think he's a lot of fun. He's terrible in this movie. He's so goofy and weird and annoying, and his motivation doesn't make any sense. Like, look at this shit. He's like a parody. It's like Jim Carrey's The Riddler. It's just annoying. It's not fun to watch. And they improve him a little bit in No Way Home, but I'm gonna be honest, I just don't like Jamie Foxx as Electro. I don't see him in this role at all. Like, motherfucker, this is Django right here. This is an action movie hero. You're not gonna convince me that he's some goofy fucking nerd. But also, why did he need to be this comically exaggerated goofy nerd anyway? Electro isn't really like that. Most of the time he's just like a normal repairman. Why did they see what is this shit, dude? What is this? I haven't seen so much of this in so long. I forgot how terrible this movie genuinely is. But there are so many people who just love this movie. And again, you're allowed to like this movie all you want. It gets to a point where it's just really fucking annoying to see people still argue in this movie's defense 12 fucking years after it came out. Like, TASM 2 fans won't just be TASM 2 fans. They really want you to fucking know that this is their favorite Spider-Man movie. They will take any chance to tell you that this is their favorite, but they also ask you how you feel about it in like it's like a loaded gun of a question, where they're ready to just pull the fucking trigger and kill you if you say that you don't like this movie. They already have like a 30-minute speech prepared. This is another thing that sucks about this movie too. Dane DeHaan, maybe he's a good actor. I haven't seen the one movie that he's really famous for, but he is so terrible in this movie. He's an even worse Harry Osborn than James Franco, which, let's be honest, James Franco was also really bad. This dude is somehow worse. This guy is a terrible addition to these movies, and I genuinely have no idea why they even fucking added him. He adds nothing to it. He looks like Brahms from The Boy, and this is like the main villain of this franchise. This is the new face of the Green Goblin. This movie, to me anyway, it feels so studio. It feels like the product of a bunch of random people and not the product of any specific one person who cared about what they were making. Like, people always say too that John Watts was just like the face that Marvel used while they directed the MCU Spider-Man from behind the scenes, and that's why those movies don't have a specific vision or style. That's the same case with this movie. This movie is the exact same fucking thing. Mark Webb was just the face of the project, while a bunch of random dudes in a boardroom decided what the movie was going to be and then told them to make that happen, basically. And the thing that pisses me off so much about this movie, the thing that really bothers me the most whenever I remember it kind of sets up the idea that nobody else besides Peter could have been Spider-Man, and that just goes against the whole fucking point of the character, dude. This like character that you're supposed to recognize with and identify yourself in, and now you're just being told straight to your face that only this dude can be Spider-Man. No one else gets to be Spider-Man, just fucking Andrew Garfield. What did I even give it? 2 out of 10? Yeah. Yeah, 2 out of 10 is fair. I'm keeping it 2 out of 10. Now we gotta talk about the other half of the Spider-Man movies. Oh man, this is back when I dressed in like this was when I was still in high school. Great frame to pause on. And I used to buy this like weird cheap clothes off of, it wasn't cheap actually, to be fair. I was spending like upwards of $100 on some of this shit. I was just so new, like buying shit on the internet when I was this age, that I would just buy from whatever website, and I didn't know how measurements worked and that they were different in basically every country. So I was just buying stupid fucking shit that barely fit me and doesn't even look that good. Like, what is this supposed to be? It's like a flannel, it's like a black hoodie, but the hood and sleeves are flannel. Alright, but okay, the first movie's Homecoming. This movie is fun. This movie is really fun. I wanted to have this going in the background so it would be footage of the movie at least, but 90% of this one, it seems, was just me talking to the camera. So it's just me talking over me right now. But yeah, Homecoming, I have like the least to say about this movie. This movie's just fun. I think it's really funny. I think it's really well paced. I watched it again before Brand New Day came out, and I don't know how I never noticed how awful this movie's editing is. This movie has terrible editing, and it's very apparent like super early on. I mean, not only does that movie just... what the fuck is happening? Not only does this movie just have really weak and standard visuals like all this, but the editing is so fucking choppy, man. There was one scene early on in the movie that I think had like 15 different cuts in the span of a minute, which is nuts. Yeah, this movie has terrible editing, and it's not very well directed. It's entirely carried by its performances and by the charming script. I've always had a big soft spot for this one too, because to me, I've always said that it feels like the Spectacular Spider-Man, the movie, like the old animated series. I haven't read the Spectacular Spider-Man comics. I got a bunch of comics next to me. None of them are Spider-Man. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I do not read Spider-Man comics. I do not care that much. But yeah, this movie's a lot of fun. It's just a solid fucking time. It's hard to find anything to complain about this movie. It's also hard to find anything that interesting to say about it either sometimes, because it's just kind of here. It's just kind of a standard, pretty good movie. I give this one an 8 out of 10 now. I don't know what I gave it in this video. We're about to find out. 9? No, it's an 8. I don't think a single one of these Tom Holland Spider-Man movies are a 9 out of 10. So I don't know why the fuck I was giving that around. Especially now, I will say right now, none of them are a 9 out of 10. Not a single one. But they're still pretty good movies. Next is Venom. I think this was like one of the shorter reviews I did in this video. Yeah, it's only like 3 or 4 minutes long. I have nothing to say about Venom. It's just a bad movie. It's uninteresting, it's bad, it's poorly shot, it's fucking boring. I mean, at one point I was considering making a video where I review all 3 of the Venom movies, because I still haven't seen Venom 3, and talk about why these movies all just kind of suck. But then I quickly realized that I just don't have anything interesting to say about these movies at all, and anything I could joke about or make fun of, like that lack of CGI there, has already been joked about or made fun of a million times. It's everything you could possibly ever say about this movie has been said better by other people. Venom is one of those characters, it's like, I don't know, I don't have anything to compare this to. I know I've never really read any Venom comics. I don't really particularly even like Venom that much. I think he's one of Spider-Man's lamer villains, to be honest. I know a lot of people love him. It's like, you know how a lot of superheroes who don't have a great rogues gallery, like Blue Beetle or something, they just kind of have like their main villain will be the opposite of them. Like Blue Beetle has Black Beetle, and the Flash has Reverse Flash. Venom to me is just bad Spider-Man. And it's not very interesting to me at all. To me, he's kind of like the Joker, where I'm just fucking sick of him. I'm just really tired of seeing Venom in everything. I feel like people always act like he needs to be tied into everything, and I just don't. Like, I don't know. I know that they probably will do it, but if they just decided to up and skip the Black Symbiote arc with Tom Holland Spider-Man, I would not complain at all. I would not complain for a single fucking second, dude. Yeah, 2 out of 10, sure. I don't remember anything about this movie besides it not being good. But yeah, 2 out of 10 seems fair. 1 out of 10 would probably be a bit too harsh. Oh yeah, this is the one, I forgot that I didn't actually review Spider-Verse myself. You guys don't know my Spider-Verse opinions. It was done by my homie Vegas, who I believe has just quit YouTube. I don't think he's made a YouTube video in like 3 years, but cool guy, really fun to talk to. I haven't talked to him in a long time, I don't think, but he's chill, and it was fun working with him. Yeah, he mainly just talks about how Spider-Verse is a really good movie, and I agree. That's the reason, actually, that I bring him on in this video. Originally, I'm pretty sure, was because I like this movie. I like it a lot, actually. I think it's one of the best Spider-Man movies, like top 3 easily. I just don't have anything remotely interesting to say about it. You know, sometimes things are just good. Sometimes things are just really good even, and I still don't have anything to say about them. I'm not sure if he gave this a rating or what, so I'll do it now. This movie's like a 9. Solid, strong 9 out of 10. This is a great movie. It's just fun, it's well paced, it's funny as hell, but I do think Across the Spider-Verse does everything that movie does well, like a 10,000 times better. Far From Home, this movie's not that good. Okay, this is another one where like TASM 1. I just find this movie to be super fucking standard. I think I hated on it more back then than I would now. It's a fine movie. It's just that it's like the first TASM, I mean, where it's the same kind of thing, where it's just aggressively fine. There's nothing interesting to be found in this movie. It just is a Spider-Man movie. The first movie wasn't perfect, but I feel like this one is when the cracks really started to form for me and a lot of other people, because this movie has absolutely no life in the way that it's shot, and it relies so much on CGI. I'm not even fully convinced that Tom Holland wore a costume at any point in this movie. I think that they were pretty much all CGI. Like this is like when this is when MCU Spider-Man didn't really work for me. This is just fucking stupid. This movie, kind of in the same way that like TASM 2 feels like a product, this movie feels like a product, but in a different sense than TASM 2, or TASM 2 feels like a product because they were spending so much of that movie trying to make it into this huge, big, grand Avengers type movie, big threats, a lot of shit happening, a lot of unresolved plot points. They're trying to set up a bunch of spin-offs and future movies. This movie has kind of the opposite problem, but causes it to be bad as well because of that. Feels very studio and not made by any specific person, but they're playing it so safe in this one. That's like what the difference is. Instead of trying to set up a bunch of shit or include a bunch of different crazy plot lines, it is just the most standard, by the book superhero movie. And I don't know about you guys, but I think superhero movies that don't try anything at all and just are extremely streamlined, safe movies are almost as bad as just genuinely bad superhero movies. Like, I don't want to watch either of these, you know? I don't want to watch a movie made by people who don't care about anything and just want to make money instead of a bunch of future spin-offs that no one cares about. And I don't want to watch a movie that is just trying to play things extremely safe and treat the audience like it's fucking dumb. So again, if you like this one, more power to you. I went on for a long time about this movie. I talk about this movie for nearly 10 minutes. It's like 7 minutes. Wow. 5 out of 10. That's fair. So I'm going to skip these two right now and come back to these because these are big ones. And I'm just going to jump straight to the next Spider-Man review because that would be simpler, you know, and get my whole thoughts on the Spider-Man franchise out of the way before I talk about all the other shit. Alright, this is the first one on the chopping block. Let There Be Carnage. I was way too nice to this movie. Look, it's a fun movie. It's super self-aware. It's short as hell. People like to make fun of this movie for everything. I think it's intentionally stupid. I think it's very much purposely what it is, and it's a full-blown comedy movie. So I don't really, like, it's kind of hard for me to make fun of things about it right now even. This movie's pretty airtight, you know? It's not a great movie, but it knows exactly what kind of movie it is, and it kind of just works for the most part. It's easy to watch, it goes by quick. If you kind of just look at this as its own thing, it's like a pretty fun 90s, I say this is fun as a fucking old woman is getting choked to death, Jesus Christ. It kind of emulates the fun, crazy vibes of like the early Venom 90s comics and stuff like that. From what I do know about them, I haven't really read them very thoroughly. Yeah, this movie could have been so much cooler if it was rated R, but as it is, it's fine. It's easily the most watchable Venom movie anyway. Well, to be fair, I still haven't seen the third one, and I don't think I ever will. Yeah, 7 out of 10. No, I'm gonna move this down to a 5. That seems fair. It's not nearly as bad as Venom 1, but it's still not a good movie. No Way Home. This one I clearly talked about for a while. I still really, really like this movie. This is one of the reasons why. I think that this is tied with me. I think this is tied for Brand New Day with me still. There's aspects of each film that I prefer over the other, but overall they kind of come out to being the same level of quality in my mind. It's surprisingly a really focused story that sticks to being primarily just about Tom Holland's Peter, even though there are other Spider-Mans in this movie. Other Spider-Men, I mean. But it still very much feels like the conclusion to his trilogy, and I think it's easily the best shot out of the Watts films. As you can see, it still has a lot of the same really bland and uninteresting cinematography that those movies are known for. But there are some really good shots in this. Like, that one's pretty good, and that one kind of looks like shit. This one kind of looks like shit too. There are some good shots in this movie though. This movie is so interesting to me too, because people are always like, oh, Brand New Day is such a fresh start for the character and a reinvention of Tom Holland's Peter, but I feel like the reinventing really started with this movie. I talk about this more in my Jurassic Park video coming out soon, but this is like one of the only fix it at the end of the trilogy kind of movies that works, possibly the only one, because there's been a few others like this. This is also definitely the closest thing we're going to see to a Sinister Six anytime soon, so I'm pretty cool with that. I do like the idea of all of his past villains from like the entire Spider-Man franchise being the collective Sinister Six in this one, even though it's only like 5 of them. It's still pretty cool. It's a cool idea. See, this looks alright to me, and then this looks bad. It's so 50-50 with how it looks in this movie, because this ugly garbage is also right before the Green Goblin fight, which is easily the coolest and best shot moment in the whole movie. 9 out of 10. I see, like I said earlier, I don't know if any of these are a full-blown 9 or 10 out of 10, but these Tom Holland Spider-Man movies anyway, I don't know, man. There's only been like 2 10 out of 10 MCU movies in total, but this one is still really great. I give this one an 8.5. And since Brand New Day wasn't out when I made any of these videos, I'll include that now. I'll just go through all the Tom ones real quick. The first Tom Holland Spider-Man Homecoming, is 8 out of 10. Far From Home is a 5 out of 10. No Way Home is an 8.5 out of 10. And then I think Brand New Day is also an 8.5 out of 10. Brand New Day and No Way Home are kind of just on the same exact level for me. But yeah, this movie still holds up really well. I don't know why people always say that shit where they're like, oh, if you watch this movie again after in the theaters, it really starts to fall apart. It doesn't. This movie's great. Morbius, oh man, I forgot I watched Morbius. Morbius is one of the worst movies ever. I don't know, Morbius is one of those uninteresting bad movies to me, where it's not like so bad it's good, it's not all that funny, it's not like some major character assassination, it's just a boring bad movie. I think it took me like 3 days total to finish this whole movie when I made this review initially, because this movie is just really fucking lame, dude. It's just super fucking boring and uninteresting. So yeah, like 2 out of 10 or something. What did I give it? I think this might be one of the only movies that I gave a 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. I don't know, man. 1 out of 10 if it would be like if something was insultingly bad. This movie's like a 2, though, because it's just like no one gives a fuck about Morbius for one, and like it's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, they ruined the character. I don't give a fuck about Morbius, and I don't think he's that interesting of a character. It's just a bad movie. Yeah, I did. I reviewed Across the Spider-Verse as its own movie when it came out, and I gave it, I think, a 10 out of 10. Said it was my favorite Spider-Man movie. I think I'm gonna keep that there. I think that movie is, like, maybe not in everyone's eyes. It's raining super hard all of a sudden. Maybe not everyone's eyes is at a 10 out of 10, but it's a 10 out of 10 in mine. It's pretty much exactly what I would want from a Spider-Man movie. So that's the whole Spider-Man franchise so far. Next, we're gonna do the Batman movies, because this was a while ago too. This is like 3 years ago. This is when I first started to like really get into making these. Okay, the first one we have is Batman 1989, and this is not footage from that. This is Batman versus Superman. 89 is in this weird position for me now where it's kind of similar to the thing I was describing with Spider-Man 1, where every time I try to watch that movie again, and I don't really try to rewatch it at all anymore at this point. Every time I've tried, I like it less and less. Like, I thought this was the coolest movie ever when I was like 8 years old. But I'm also very much of the belief that just because something was good when you were 8 years old doesn't mean it still is as an adult, you know? And going back as an adult, this movie, besides shit like this, blatant issues where Batman kills people, and the fact that he doesn't really get a whole lot of actual characterization in this movie's just kind of fucking boring. Very standard. And you kind of have to look at it from the lens of when it came out. At the time, this was like a big deal because there wasn't really superhero movies that took the material as seriously as this one did, but it definitely doesn't. It definitely hasn't aged super well, and compared to most of the other Batman movies that came after it, it's like this one's just kind of in the middle. It's not bad, and it's not great either. 7 out of 10. That's kind of fair. I think I'm leaning more towards a 6 though these days. Batman Returns / Mask of the Phantasm, because I did these as one. Because, to be honest, I don't really consider Mask of the Phantasm like a real Batman movie. It's so short, not a lot going on in it, and I don't really agree when people say that it's the best Batman movie in general. It just feels like a pretty good episode of the animated series of Kevin Conroy, and to be honest, I think there's other better episodes of it. I'd probably give that, like, the Mask of the Phantasm, like a 6 or 7 as well. Batman Returns, this is an interesting one for me, because I used to like really, really love this movie, but it's kind of in the same boat as the first one where I don't like it as much whenever I go back to it. I think it's definitely a lot better than the first one. It's probably my favorite Tim Burton movie because I don't really typically watch his movies that much or enjoy them. I do enjoy this one and the aesthetics it presents, and it has like great music. This movie is entirely carried by its music and aesthetics for me, to be completely honest, because there's not a whole lot of like groundbreaking shit in this. It's also always bothered me that they were like right on the cusp of having a really good villain in the Penguin, but they kind of ruined it by making it so that he was evil secretly the whole time. I always kind of preferred the idea that he just became evil out of the like finding out the truth about his parents who abandoned him, and the rejection that he gets from society is what turned him bad. But that's not really the case. It seems like he was just always evil. That's like the big twist of this movie, was that he was planning to be evil the whole fucking time. This movie has a really clean, nice look to it compared to the first one. The first movie feels so dirty and grungy by comparison, and I like this the vibe they go for a lot more in this one. But I also love when Batman's in the snow. You put Batman in a snowy environment and you've won me over already. 9.5 out of 10. No, definitely not. I'll give this one a 7. I'll move it down to a 7 while I move the first one down to a 6, because that's just kind of how I feel 3 years on since I made this video. To be honest, it's tougher with these Batman movies because with Spider-Man, I just have that shit locked and loaded. Because I'll rewatch a couple of those movies like on a yearly basis, but I don't rewatch any of these movies. But these ones are going to go down, that's for sure. So yeah, so far 6 and 7 out of 10. I kind of forgot about this. I already realized I skipped Adam West Batman. This one, I don't know. This one, it's a fun, silly little comedy movie. If I had to give it a rating at all, I'd probably just give it like a 5 or a 6. It's whatever. It's not something I watch again. Like I said in my last video, I just kind of have beef with the concept of Adam West's Batman, because it's like what a lot of superhero things did back then, where they felt like they needed to change things because the comic books are too silly. So in this one, they were like, oh, the comic books are silly and Batman's lame and corny, so why don't we just make a shitty comedy and not even try to make like an actual Batman movie? When at this point in the comics, there was like a shit ton of crazy Batman stuff that you could have done, and instead they did this. So yeah, I gave it 5 out of 10. That's fair. Batman Forever, this one is interesting too, because this one also exists in that same realm as The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where we live in this weird revisionist timeline where people really like these movies for some reason. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, what was that clip? What was this? I don't even remember what movie this is from. What is this? What does this have to do with the review? I hate Jim Carrey as the Riddler. I don't know why people like that so much. I don't like him as Two-Face either, because he's trying to like match Jim Carrey's silly energy for some reason, and it just becomes fucking annoying. And I don't like Val Kilmer. I forgot about that fucking stupid Hydraulics Batmobile shit. I don't like Val Kilmer as Batman either. He's the second worst live action Batman in my opinion, behind George Clooney, and it's not entirely his fault. They didn't really give him anything to work with, but also he's like bored this whole movie or something, because he doesn't really try to give it much characterization. He just kind of plays him like a plank of wood. People look back on this movie a lot more fondly, mainly because of nostalgia, because I know a lot of people loved this as a kid, even though I don't have that personally, because I never really watched this one as a kid. But people also like to talk about this movie based around the deleted scenes. They talk about the deleted scenes of this movie like that is the real movie, instead of what we actually got, which is this fucking hideous mess that you're looking at now. Do you see this shit? You see this shit right here? Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever, a misunderstood masterpiece. This video, I rue the day that this video released. Not because it's a bad video. It's actually a really good video if you haven't seen it. But ever since this video, and it did pretty fucking well too, got almost 1 million views, people have looked at this movie in a different light now. They base it around, they talk about the deleted scenes and concept that they were going for with this movie like it's the actual movie. You don't get to review a movie around the idea of what it was trying to be. Because I see people do that a lot, where they're like, oh, they had good ideas, it's just trying something. Good ideas mean jack shit if your movie just isn't good. Like I could talk all day about a bunch of different movies that have had studio meddling and annoying shit that brings them down. Like I could spend all my time being like, oh, TASM 2 would have been better without the studio meddling. But you also have to kind of look at what the movie is, look at it from an objective standpoint. And in my opinion, the normal Batman Forever that you get is not a good movie, and that's what I said in this video, and I stand on pretty much everything I said when I made this video. 4 out of 10, that's whatever, that's fine, I'll keep that. I don't really care that much about these ones, like whatever bad review score number I gave it is true. There's nothing interesting to say about Batman and Robin either, by the way. That's why this review was so short. 1 out of 10, it's a 2. At least it's really funny. It's a funny ass movie. So like at least it has that going for it. It's definitely not a 1 out of 10. It's not a good movie either though. It's a 2. It's not good at all. And there's just nothing interesting to say about this movie. It's just bad, and everyone knows that it's bad. Everyone's talked about how it's bad 1 million times. It's the same kind of thing with Catwoman. This movie is such a confused and strange movie. Like there's no world in which this movie was ever going to be good. At least with like the Batman movies, you have the benefit of the doubt where it's like, oh, it could have been good and they had some good ideas. Nowhere at any point, at any time, was this ever going to be a good fucking movie. And that's part of the reason that it just, like, see what I mean? This movie just sucks. And it's not even, it's another case of like a bad movie that's not even really that funny. It's just bad and boring. It's like Venom. Yeah, actually, this movie has a lot of shit in common with Venom. Now that I think about it. This, Daredevil, the Daredevil movie, not the show, Ghost Rider, and Venom are all the same exact movie. 2 out of 10, yeah, that's still fair. Like I said, I really don't care about like the shitty ones like this. Whatever I said is still probably true. Batman Begins is a toughie for me, because I really loved this movie for the longest time, and I still do. I have a strong soft spot for this movie, because to me it feels the most like an actual Batman movie out of Christopher Nolan's trilogy. The rest of it is basically just crime dramas, but this one is a full-blown Batman movie, and I like it because of that. I don't like that they whitewashed Ra's al Ghul, and I don't love the pacing of this movie, and I think the action is really poorly done. And he kind of got a little bit better with it as the trilogy went on, but Christopher Nolan was just like really bad at doing action at this point in his career. It's one of those like superhero movies that I could just throw on whenever, and kind of have it on while I clean or something, and it's just nice, it's just a good time. It's a feel-good Batman movie. To be honest, this and the Batman are kind of on the same level. I'm probably going to be playing my cards a little early here, but I'm going to be completely honest when I say that, like, there still hasn't been the perfect Batman movie that I want yet. 10 out of 10, it's not a 10. It's an 8 out of 10, but it's still a really good movie. The Dark Knight, see, this one's a complicated one for me. I think this is a super well-made, interesting movie, and everything with the Joker is great. I love the usage of practical effects too. But I don't know, this is another one of those movies I don't ever feel the urge to go back and rewatch this. I've already seen it like 6 times and that's enough. I think it has some cool ideas. I think it handles a lot of its themes really well. It's probably like, from an objective standpoint, it's easily the most well-made Batman movie in this entire trilogy. I just like the first one a little bit more because it feels more like a Batman movie to me. Batman Begins and Dark Knight are basically just the same to me in my mind. They're pretty good separately, but they work really well as like a two-parter that you can just fucking watch both of them and then pretend the third movie doesn't exist. Yep, here we go, 9 out of 10. I'm gonna change it to an 8. I know a lot of people would put it as a 9, and I understand. That's probably the correct answer too. But I'm just going to move it down to an 8. That's how I personally feel. This one's a tough... Dude, The Dark Knight... I don't know what the fuck I was talking about in this video. The Dark Knight Rises fucking sucks. It really does. I think... I don't know. I was in this weird state of denial back then. I hadn't seen The Dark Knight Rises since it came out. When I made this video, I watched it again and I was like, hey, this is a lot better than I remembered it being. Because I remember not liking it at all when I was younger. And I think this movie has some cool shit in it. I tried to rewatch this again a couple years ago and I couldn't make it very far. It does not nearly have the same level of sauce as the first two. It's just kind of boring and ugly. I really hate how they constantly flip back and forth between, like, film to digital or whatever. I can't remember exactly how they did it, but like 1 second, and it's not even like scene to scene, it's shot to shot, that it will switch from like being black like this, from being black barred to being full screen. Look, this is actually a perfect example of it. See, look right here, it's full screen, and then as soon as he kicks him through the door, it immediately hard cuts to being black barred at the top or whatever. I don't remember what the actual term is, but this shit happens for the entire movie, and it is so distracting, dude. By all means, though, it's like, it's a fine movie, like, technically speaking, but it's like what I've said so many times in this video already. It's so insanely fine that it almost starts to piss you off how fucking mediocre this movie is. Yeah, 7 out of 10. It's more of a fucking 5. It's just a very average movie. It doesn't really have much going on. It's a 5 out of 10 movie. Oh goody, it's Batman vs Superman. I'm glad I get to talk about this again. I talked about this movie like 2 separate times. I talked about it when I made this video, and I talked about it again in the Superman video. But yeah, this movie's fucking awful, man. It's so long and boring. It's a complete character assassination on all these characters. And if you tell me that this is your favorite DC movie, then I'm gonna assume, like with TASM 2, that you're a contrarian. And I'm just gonna say something that a lot of people don't agree with either, in general, but I really don't like Ben Affleck as Batman. I just don't see him in this role at all. I just don't like how they keep trying to do old man Batman 2. Not old man per se, but he's middle-aged. I want him to be young for once, damn it. Also, yeah, good thing a picture of it just pops up. I hate this costume. I know a lot of people love this. I really hate this costume. I'm way more of like a slimmed down, very minimalistic kind of look for Batman. See, something like this is much more what I want to see in a Batman movie someday. Very sleek, very slick design. And I don't know if I can find a picture of it, but his cape is like super long, and it kind of drapes around him when he's standing still. It's very cool. But I love the color on this too. I love how the blue hue like complements the black, and how simplistic all of this is. And they actually gave him his trunks. Yeah, I love this costume. I really hope that they go for a more narrow, stealth-faced Batman when they do that Brave and the Bold movie, but who knows? They might go for another huge Batman. But it's definitely how I feel. What did I give this movie? What the fuck? Oh no, I was nicer to this one than I thought. That's right. No, this movie's a 2. This movie sucks. This is a terrible movie. I have no idea how or why I gave it a 5 out of 10. I might have changed that in the Superman video. We'll find out. I think, yeah, like I said earlier, this is back when I was worried about hurting people's feelings. And the last people's feelings that you ever want to hurt if you want to not be fucking doxxed and murdered in your sleep, are Zack Snyder fans. They're fucking nuts. Lego Batman, this one's fun. This is a funny ass movie. This movie's an 8 out of 10. This is like the funniest Batman movie. Yeah, this is great. I love this movie. Oh yeah, Joker sucks. I don't know, 3 out of 10. I don't have anything interesting to say about this movie either. I just think it's really lame and predictable and corny. So I'm starving right now, so I'm gonna fucking speed run the rest of these. Joker's a 3 out of 10. The Batman is it's an 8 out of 10. It's still not my perfect Batman movie though, and I'm gonna be waiting until the day where we get to see a very comic book accurate. Well, this is accurate. I'm not trying to say this isn't accurate. I just want to see Batman doing some crazy shit. Like, this movie was much more in tune with what you would want from a Batman movie, and it focuses on his detective side, and it's dark and gritty looking, and Gotham looks cool, but it's still too grounded for me. Like, a lot of people want this Batman to be the one in the DCU, but I can't for the life of me see this character fighting alongside Superman or fighting like a Clayface or something like that. Like, this is definitely not as realistic as the old Dark Knight movies, but it still has the same kind of idea where it's grounded, feels like it takes place in a real world, and I just don't see this Batman gliding around and doing crazy shit like what you would expect of the comic book Batman. I also don't get why people are so opposed to the idea of having 2 separate Batman franchises running at one time. Are you kidding me? Double the Batman? That's fucking great. You know, everybody wins now. Like, if you don't like Robert Pattinson's Batman, then maybe you'll like the Brave and the Bold Batman, you know? But yeah, this movie's pretty good. I think I gave it an 8 out of 10 too. Whatever I said about this movie is pretty much exactly how I feel now. Alright, this Superman video, man. I unlisted this video for a little bit there because I disagree with so many of my takes in retrospect. That I literally just can't deal with it anymore, man. Superman 1. I got a comment about this before. I think I skipped Superman the Mole Man. I still haven't seen that movie. I didn't know that that came out in theaters though. I thought it was like a TV movie. That's why I didn't include it. But that one seems interesting. I'm gonna have to. I've thought about this before, and if I was to do a video, like redo any of these older review videos, it would most likely be this one, because I just feel like there's so many things that I overlooked. But yeah, the first Superman movie's solid. It's really cute and charming. It's a very generic movie though. It's super standard, man. It gets the core aspects of the character right and what he believes in, and that's what's important anyway. 9 out of 10, yeah, that's kind of okay with me, but I think I'll give it an 8 instead. Superman 2 is one that I've changed my mind about a lot. I think I was just kind of nostalgia blind when I watched this movie again because I liked it more than the first one as a kid. Like, not even that long after I finished making this video all these years ago, I started to like it just less and less. It's similar to those older Batman movies where it just stops working for me after a while. And this is a good scene to highlight. Everyone criticizes the bit in Man of Steel where he fucking kills Zod at the end. He does the same shit in this movie. He also murders Zod in this fucking movie. He kills... Actually, he doesn't even just kill Zod. He kills Zod and his 2 friends. He kills all of them. Also, half of this movie, like this shit, is just really annoying and uninteresting. Lois Lane is like the dumbest reporter of all time. It takes her way too long to find out that Superman is Clark Kent. The choice at the end for him to like wipe her memory, it's not only is it kind of fucked up, but it's also just such a disappointment. And this scene is so un-Supermanly of him. He would totally just get in there and save her. He wouldn't be trying to do this beat around the bush trick about it. And this movie perpetuates that idea that like Clark Kent is the fake identity and Superman's the real him, and that's just not the fucking case. This scene's also really stupid. This scene goes on for like 5 minutes of them just blowing people down the street and food getting knocked out of their hands and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. 7 out of 10, it's more of a 6. 7's fair though, so I'm not gonna complain too much. Superman 3 sucks. This is still a fair comparison that I made too. Back in this era, the first 2 superhero movies were always pretty good. The first one was usually better, and then the third and fourth one would just be like comedically terrible. Like surprisingly bad and cheaper for some reason too. Like, this looks like it cost less money to make than the first one, which is fucking crazy. It's also just not funny at all. It tries so hard to be like super. This movie thinks it's so fucking funny, and there's nothing worse than a movie that thinks it's funny when it's actually just annoying and weird like this. Yeah, this movie sucks. 3.5 out of 10, yeah, that's fine. This one didn't completely break my psyche. There was definitely worse Superman movies than this one, and at least I got to just laugh at a shitty movie. Supergirl, I think I was a little too hard on this movie. I think I ranked this one the lowest. This movie is not as bad as Superman 4. It's just not, but it is still pretty bad. It's really boring, and it doesn't really seem to understand the character at all. They just kind of made shit up. I'm pretty sure they killed her in the comics as a result of this movie being as bad as it was. But goddamn, I was giving 1 out of 10s out like fucking hotcakes back then. This is not a 1 out of 10 movie. It's more like a 3. Superman 4 is so fucking bad. I don't even know how this movie came out. It's like so much shorter than the other ones. Nothing happens in this movie. Clark does crazy shit like this the whole time, gets Lois to remember who he is, and then wipes her memory again, and then he has this weird love triangle going on with a different woman the whole time. So he's just kind of going back and forth between these two. Clark Kent would never do that. He would never fucking do that. And I will never understand the choice to make the villain some random made up joke of a character instead of like Bizarro or something. 2 out of 10, yeah, that's fair. Most of these Superman movies are not good. I'm starting to realize that a lot of these movies are just not that good. This one's a toughie. This one's a toughie. Not only was this directed by a fucking pedophile, but I was also way too nice to this movie. I think it's because this is one of the only Superman movies that I hadn't really seen as a kid. And then after watching all those other terrible Superman movies again, this one just felt like a breath of fresh air by comparison. It felt like, I think I overhyped it a little bit because of that sense. It was the first good Superman movie in like 4 entries ever since the very first one. I think because of that reason, I thought it was a lot better than it was. I think I might have said this was my favorite Superman movie at one point. I think that's the final thesis of this video, but in the years since this, it's really fallen off for me a lot. I tried to watch it again. It's a lot more boring than I remembered it being. It's so long. And especially with the release of the new Superman movie, which was basically just exactly what I wanted the whole time one of these movies to be. This one, it made it even more clear to me why this one just doesn't fucking work. I thought Brandon Routh's portrayal overall was pretty good. I think he did a better job than Christopher Reeve when it comes to Clark Kent, because he's less of like a bumbling fool and more of just like an awkward guy. And I do like the costume. I like scenes like this where he's lifting the plane. I think all that stuff's really fun. But this movie is just really held back by a lot of stupid shit. But also something I didn't really notice the first time I watched this and when I reviewed it is that the plot of this movie is basically just that Superman's a deadbeat dad who disappeared after he got Lois Lane pregnant. And that is also not... They got a lot of characterization wrong with Clark in this series. But that is 110% never something he would do. He would never do that. So yeah, what insane over the top score did I give this movie? 9.5 out of 10. No, it is not. This one is going to drop significantly compared to a lot of these other ones, but I'm going to give this one a 6, man. It really doesn't hold up on repeat viewing. Man of Steel, here's another movie that I guarantee I was probably too nice to. I think it's a fine movie overall. If you can look past the fact that it's technically supposed to be a Superman movie and just watch it as like an action movie, it's fine. It's the performances in this are so wooden though. I don't think anybody did a good job. That's why I never understood why people were so distraught and straight up heartbroken about the idea that he was done with this character. For one, he was done with this character since like 2017. He gave up after Justice League and they brought him back specifically for Black Adam in 2022, even though they had already been making plans to move on with the DCU and have James Gunn recast Superman and all that. So I don't know why they did that, and it's always bothered me though that people specifically blame James Gunn so much for that, because it's, if anything, it's The Rock's fault for getting Henry Cavill's hopes up and getting him involved again. And then he kind of phased out. Like, I remember he wasn't in Shazam. They made a cameo with Superman at the end, but it's not Henry Cavill. They don't even show his face. And they were I remember at the time there was a lot of discussion about like, who is the new Superman then? Who's the guy that we're not seeing here? Who's it gonna be? because Henry Cavill had fucking quit, and I don't know how people forgot about that. Man of Steel's got some good action. It's pretty well shot overall, I think. Some of the parts like this hit pretty hard where he flies for the first time. I think that was good. 6 out of 10. It's a 4. It's a 4. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. And I think they should have just left it here. I don't think they should have tried to use this as the jumping off point for the DC cinematic universe, because this feels like a what if kind of thing. It feels like an Elseworld story where it's like, what if Superman was really dark and gritty? I want to see if I changed my score for BVS when I did this video. Oh, I gave it a 5 out of 10 again. No, this movie's a 2. This movie sucks. I don't know why I was so insistent that it was okay. And then there's the new Superman, which I never reviewed on my channel because it just wasn't out yet, obviously, when I made this video. And I stopped doing new movie review videos way before that ever came out. I did review it on my second channel when I briefly did my podcast for a few months. But yeah, that one's my favorite Superman movie overall. I'd give it probably like a 8.5. Seems fair. It's a really good movie, really fun to watch. Not my favorite James Gunn movie though. I think Guardians 3 and Suicide Squad are a lot better. Everything that has 3 years slapped on it, or older, is probably going to be that, like, I don't really agree anymore kind of territory. But everything up here, all of these, this is all still 100% true. And to how I feel, I mean, it hasn't changed at all. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one especially, I haven't watched any of these movies since I finished this fucking video. I never watched any of them again. Do you like my Planet of the Apes poster thing? I have not seen that movie. I think I'm going to review those movies as well in the future. But yeah, that's basically it. That's all I wanted to say, guys. Thanks for joining me as I looked back on all of my old reviews, and join me maybe again in like a month or so when I finally do a new one and I review the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies. Spoiler alert, a lot of them are really fucking bad.